Alright, so I am Martha Chatterton. Last time I was here, I was talking about things that were going on with our state school board, our local school boards. We actually went to the meeting a week after and found out that CRT is already being taught in schools. 1619 is being taught in schools. They said the only way we can get rid of it is by having parents show up in numbers. They don't care if you have kids going to school there still. They don't care if you even have kids. They just need people to come and speak out at every school board meeting. And we only have a few more school board meetings until these books get put into our kids' hands, which will be January of 2022. Because they showed us the books that they were actually going to be starting to teach in January. And I'm telling you, the stuff in it was ridiculous. Telling kids it's okay to be weird. Telling kids it's okay to go ahead and admit you're an oppressor. I mean, the things that we saw in the actual curriculum, and we only saw 5th grade to 12th grade. And most of the stuff in there was racist, but they used like equality and oppressor. They don't say the word racist in the book. They just use their little keywords so people know what they're teaching kids. And a lot of the chapters was about white kids being bad, white kids being oppressors to black kids. White kids are the reason that black kids are not able to learn in school. And I'm telling you, all of us need to go to every school board meeting we can. And that's why I'm missing the potluck on the 26th, because I want to be at my kids' school board meeting. And anybody else's towns or cities, if y'all have a school board meeting, let me know when it is. We will gladly go and speak, because you don't, New Lebanon School Board say you don't have to live in the school district, you don't have to have kids, you don't have to have kids in that school in order to go and speak out as an American, as someone who does not want our kids hating themselves for their race. In the books, they have little forms there. All you have to do is write your name on the form and tell them which book you oppose. And once they get enough forms filled out, where they said at least half, they said if they get at least half of the parents or people in there standing up for kids, if they get half, so like New Lebanon, there's 450 kids, so they would need 225 people to fill out that form. It doesn't matter if they go to that school or not. They need those parents to come in there and fill that out, saying they're opposed to this book, that book, that book. And Heather was at the meeting with me, and like she found more things than I did. And another thing is the book called It's Perfectly Normal. That is the book they are trying to pass. And I have a video of it on my phone. That's the book they're trying to pass that teaches children how to masturbate, websites to go and watch porn, positions. Like, there's full color pictures in this book. Full color pictures of man and man having sex, women and women having sex, male and female having sex. And they're trying to get this passed now to where it can be taught for 5 years and up. Right now, it's only approved for 10 years and up. Yeah, which I think 10 years old is way too young for kids.
And that is at the Ohio State School Board.
Ohio State School Board.
Okay.
But what New Lebanon told us is it's up to the local school boards to say what books are going to come in.
That's what I learned in Chatterton.
And that's why we have to go to these meetings. We have to fill out those. All it is your name, your phone number, and what book you oppose. That's all we have to do. It's not that hard for any of us to go in there for 2 minutes, fill out our name, our phone number, and what book we oppose.
Where do you do that, Martha?
At the school board meetings.
For
Each
New
school
Lebanon?
board,
'Cause
I know New Lebanon said each school board is supposed to have those forms at their meetings.
Regardless of city.
regardless of city, every school board in the state of Ohio is supposed to have those forms for you to fill out.
Okay.
And it's literally just a little 1.5 inch little slit of paper. That's all it is. So if we don't do our part, it's our fault that our kids are gonna hate themselves. It's our fault that our kids are gonna end up molested because it's perfectly normal, as the book says. The book is teaching them about this, so when, you know, one of their classmates starts sexually abusing them, it's normal. It's normal. Our kids aren't gonna come home and tell us, hey, so-and-so touched me today. They're not gonna tell you that because they're learning in school that it's normal for all of this stuff to happen.
Do they have a list of those books there at the school board?
Yeah, they do have a list of the books that they want to bring in 2022. And that, like at the meeting last month that we went to, they had the actual books there
Wow.
for us to see.
Wow.
And we were able to go through them. That's how we know what was in each book.
Our community is outraged about it.
Do you have a list of those books?
Yeah.
I did not take a picture of the list. Did you?
You gotta go get.
I couldn't because they were all had, I didn't get it
Yeah,
passed.
I mean, so many people were,
Right.
we were all like, let me see that, let me see
If
that.
Ohioans were to contact the Ohio Board of Education, can an Ohioan gain a list of those books?
Is it on their website?
Yeah, is it on their website?
I'm not sure if it's on their website. I know
We
this
need to
week
find that
Mark
out.
Paquita went to the state school board
Okay.
and he had a hell of a time even getting in there to speak on our behalf. And he went in there, gave them a list of everything that's wrong with the CRT, with the Title 20 curriculum, because that's what they're calling it now. It's not CRT, it's not 1619. It's called Title 20. And they've also just put in 4 school board members don't agree with it. I don't know if you know, but there's 11 state school board members. 8 of those are appointed by DeWine. Those 8 want Title 20.
Of course they do.
Those other 4 do not want it.
Of course.
So the people appointed by DeWine
Yeah.
want our kids to hate each other. And I'm telling you, what's in these books is gonna make our kids hate each other. There's no way around it. But we, like Mark said, Mark even drawed up the emergency form that they could have signed right then and there at the state school board meeting on Wednesday. And they refused to sign it. They could have signed that emergency form to get rid of Title 20 altogether. But instead, the 4 school board members, they're doing a Title 24 to have it sent to Dave Yost, I think was his name, our Attorney General,
Yeah.
maybe. And they're having it sent to him to see if it violates our civil rights and several other
You think?
laws. Because they don't want it in there. So we have 4 school board members out of 11 that are fighting for the state of Ohio.
So if we go into our local school board where our kids are enrolled, I'm saying this loudly for the video, we go in and we ask, how can we oppose Title 20, Martha? That's the verbiage to use? That's the
It's
proper,
Title 20 is what they are
proper
calling it.
verbiage? Okay, that's what our Ohioans need to know so that they can come to their school board, their local school board meeting and
Yeah.
say, I would like to oppose Title 20,
Yeah,
correct?
and they
Okay.
actually passed this Title 20 in June of 2020 while we were all on lockdown, while nobody was able to go to any of these meetings. So they had no opposition because nobody was allowed to go to the meetings.
That's crap. That's just total crap.
Okay.
So that's what we have to do. We have to go to our school board. You can go to your
Yes.
local school board, the city that you're in.
Where's the
Yep.
parents?
Tell them you want a list of the
That's the
curriculum that's
school.
going to be taught in
Yep.
2021, 2022.
Yep.
You can go through those books online yourself and
Yep.
see how ridiculous a lot of them are. And they're not even, what makes me even more mad, they're not even being taught in history. You would think this stuff would be in a history class because it's supposed history, where a lot of it is false information. Like the stuff that I've seen, a lot of it's false information. Well, you would think that it would be in history. It's not. It's in language arts. It's not
Social
even in
studies?
history.
Is
It's
it
in
so-
language arts.
Social studies at all?
No.
Okay.
Language
Alright.
arts. Like, and even there's spelling words in those sections. It's oppressor, racist,
You can give us a
slave.
list of the names again there, Martha, so that we can keep an eye out, that you can remember. What was the list of the names of the curriculum books again?
Only one I remember good is, it's called It's Perfectly Normal.
Okay, and that was the sexualization.
And that was the sexualized book.
Okay,
I do not remember.
the CRT, but we
The-
know 1619 project for sure.
Yeah, we know for sure that 1619 and CRT is in those books,
Okay.
but they're calling it Title 20.
Title 20, okay.
So
Thank
that they
you,
can
ma'am.
say, when you go to the school board, we're not teaching CRT.
Right.
You
That's-
parents are tripping. We're not teaching that.
Yeah, that's why
We're
we
not
know.
teaching 1619. Yeah, you're not. You're teaching Title 20
Yeah.
that you passed while we were all on lockdown.
Okay, that's what each
So
Ohio
that's
needs
why
to
we
know.
have to fight it. We have to, the new Lebanon School Board even gave us Dave Yost's number. They said we need to all call our state reps, our state senators.
Sure.
Would you like to give us all that number
And we need
too?
to call Dave Yost and oppose these.
Would you like to give us those numbers now since we're capturing this on video?
I don't have them on me. I had a printout of it, but I didn't even bring it with me. I did get that printout.
Can you email that so I can add it to this video?
Yeah.
I
For
can take a picture
publication?
and email it as soon as I get home, yeah. But those are the state reps for that area. So you will need to, like, you're in Kettering, so I think you've got Kettering Centerville's Andrea White.
Yeah. Yeah, I walked right past her, ma'am, not knowing who she was.
So we have local, basically the school board, the state school board has representatives from the local schools.
Yeah, our state representatives are the ones who can actually go and file a bill with the legislation to
Oh,
block
okay.
this. That's why we have to call our senators and our state legislatures, because we need the state legislatures, like Rodney Creech, Phil Plummer, Andrea White, several of them, we need them to start a bill
Yeah.
so that the Senate can pass it, our senators can pass it and send it to DeWine for him to either veto it, so we can then go in 90 days and
Yeah.
our state legislatures block it themselves,
Yeah.
or whatever we have to do, because we cannot, you see everything that's happening with Antifa? That's because all of those kids have been taught CRT in college. Do y'all want our little kids out here? You know, within a year, they would be indoctrinated with the things we read in the books. So within a year, our kids are gonna be out here hollering this, that, and the other. I'm not even gonna repeat their little chants. And just, being rude to cops, being rude to parents, being rude to anybody that disagrees with them. I don't want that for my kids, because the way I was raised, we got to switch when we talk back. And I'm telling you, if my kids came home trying to act like Antifa, I'm going to be in jail because I'm going to whoop them. That's the problem. These kids were all taught this in college, that all white people are bad. And that's what we have to stop, because we're not bad. The Civil War, you know, they want to talk about, in one part of the book, talk about the Civil War was black against white. No, there was more white people that fought for the freedom of black people than there was black people that fought for their freedom. Because a lot of them didn't see themselves as slaves. A lot of them seen themselves as, I've got somewhere to live, I've got a job, I've got food. Because not all slave owners were bad. Some of them were, but most of them was not.
And
So,
some-
for
and
them to
some
even be-
slave owners were black.
Yeah, a
Some
lot.
of
The
them were
very
black.
first
Yes,
slave owner was a black
exactly.
man.
Well, I don't want my children to feel like they're, responsible for people that's years ago and when they weren't even here. They're individuals.
Yeah.
This is all a disinformation campaign so that our
Yeah.
children won't know.
Yeah.
It was the Democratic Party that implemented the Jim Crow laws and that were attacking Republicans that were aligning with black people and beating them up and tarring and feathering them. That's where that came
Yeah.
from.
Yep. And that's, you know, like last time when Chloe was here, that's what she talked about, is how her teachers were trying to teach her the wrong history, and she told them, that's not true. My mom showed me where that's not true, what you said yesterday.
That's our first line of defense, folks, is the parents teaching the children, even in the midst of the state teaching our children.
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
must
A
teach.
lot of blacks say that they're mistreated by whites. I had 3 black people that worked for me. One of them, I paid him. He paid the other 2 on what he thought they was worth. They were basically his slaves. And this is not that long ago. And it happened in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, it happens everywhere.
And, you know, they blame the whites on the way the blacks are mistreated. The blacks mistreat the blacks the same way.
Okay? And like they say, you
But you
know,
never see that on the news.
the white oppresses the black.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, did Obama's white side oppress his black side?
Yeah.
How did he become president?
Well,
How do we have all these millionaire and billionaire black people if nobody's able to do anything? People need to quit using that as an excuse and get out, go to work,
that's right.
pay your bills. It's not a white person's fault that you can't pay your bills.
No.
It's your own fault. It'd be like us. Oh, I can't pay my bills because black people live on my street. No, you can't pay your bills because you didn't take your butt to work.
Or you went and bought a bottle of wine instead of food for your family.
Exactly. So I mean, it's stuff that we've got to get stopped.
Dan Bongino had mentioned that it's no longer being called CRT. They you know how they always change the name just so that, you know, that you
Keep
can't.
So that we
Well,
be
when you
quiet.
ask, they'll say, no, we're not doing that. Well, this was a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It's now being referred to as transformative social emotional learning.
Emotional learning. Yep.
So
Wow.
you
Yeah.
have to be specific
They'll keep
as
changing
to
the name.
exactly what
Yeah.
you're asking,
Yeah.
not the overlying
Paul.
umbrella,
Yeah, thanks,
but get down to the point. Are you teaching my kids that they can masturbate at this age? Are you teaching my kids positions for them to be having
Or
sex
it's
with
Gonna have
other
to be
okay
people?
to
real.
be whatever
You shouldn't be
you
doing
can be
that
a boy
with
or a
kids
girl.
that are
It
under
doesn't matter
this-
where you were born.
Right.
I mean, I
And
Not on my watch.
and the hanger.
That's also in the book, that we're not born male or female.
Right, and what they do is when I emailed our school board, they said, instead of answering my question, they said, we teach what the State Board of Education approves their curriculum.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to answer the question.
Exactly, and they won't answer it until
Yep.
Yeah.
we go to these meetings and get in their face, because it's a lot harder for them to lie to you on an email or a phone call. If you're in their face at these school board meetings, they're gonna be, well,
You know, it might not be a bad idea is to make up flyers and just say, do you know what your schools are teaching your kids? Don't put, you know, where it's from or anything, just put a flyer saying, you need to attend school board meetings and look at this and see that, you know, they're bringing in this curriculum. They're wanting to bring this in, which shows them this, which shows them this. And then just leave it at that, say,
And
you need to attend your school board meeting. Don't put any, like Ohio Patriots Alliance, Republican Party, whatever.
Yeah.
It needs to cover everybody so that it doesn't get turned off by anybody.
You
know,
would
because
think a
of what it is.
lawsuit for discrimination under the Equal Opportunity Act and all these other laws. But what I learned in college was that if you're not in a protected class, they called it in business law, if you're not a minority, you don't get to sue under some of those laws. So we allowed that bullshit to stand for way too long. So that now all it would take is for all these kids, and I'm seeing beautiful children standing up and being more articulate than their teachers. And it's as if there's no lawyers or anyone else. They'll sue you over everything. And all of a sudden there's no lawyers that are representing these children and the racism that's going on. It's
Yeah,
bad.
it's that, and like, you know, we just had 2 parents stand up in Columbus. It's not only public schools, it's private schools, it's charter
Yep,
schools.
everywhere. Yes.
2 parents at a private school.
Yes.
Very expensive private
Yep.
school. $3,300 a month per child.
Yep,
They found out their kids were gonna be taught CRT.
$33,000.
They opposed it.
I would be salty.
Their children are now expelled indefinitely because their parents
Yeah.
do not agree with CRT being taught to their children.
You watch Tucker Carlson, don't you?
No, I actually got it off of a Columbus news station.
Oh, did you?
They
Okay.
actually covered it.
Nice,
Wow.
very nice.
Yeah, and then Dan Bongino covered it, and
Awesome, right
then
on.
Tucker covered it.
Cool, cool.
So it was good that a Columbus school was actually covered for what's going on. For parents being expelled, or kids being
Yeah,
expelled, because their parents do not agree with them being taught to hate themselves.
Yeah.
We gotta do something. Not on our watch.
Okay.
Not on my watch.
I hate to tell you this, I like your
So
meeting,
David,
but I got a doctor's appointment. So I'm gonna have to go, and I agree pretty much on everything you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't have kids,
And that's-
find out what
I'm
school
like
board
the
meeting is
best way
next.
in the world.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.